Hi guys, welcome to our channel, Downs to Earth, where we talk about living simply, creating family, and growing faithfully. I'm Matthew, and this is my fiance, Carol. Today we're going to be talking about boundaries in relationship. Just a little preface, today we'll be talking about our relationship and the way we do things. We don't judge others for the way they do, but we live under what we call a biblical style relationship. And again, that does not cast aspersion or judgment to anyone who does it differently or sees it differently. But if you are wanting to try something new, or you want to get some biblical perspective, try it out and research it for yourself.
Right.
Today's video will actually be in two parts, and in both parts you will get some good discussion on relationship. So I'm going to let you try the pastry.
Okay.
And I'm going to start our discussion on boundaries. So our view today would actually be considered very radical, but in the past it was norm for many cultures, especially those who are Judeo-Christian, or I think even many Muslims.
Most of us are very strict.
Yeah. So we do not believe in having sex outside of marriage, and I think a lot of people interpret that as being like just about shame or something, but there's so many actually healthy reasons to not have sex before marriage. I know I had a hippie aunt who tried to tell me that I should not marry someone until I've been with them sexually for at least 6 months and understand
to see how good
how our chemistry is. And it was so hard for me to bite my tongue because actually almost all the studies in psychology, at least that I've seen, show that when you have sex before marriage, the likelihood of a marriage lasting more than a couple years diminishes pretty greatly. And I think that also kind of adds up too when you've had a lot of sexual partners. It can make intimacy difficult, especially for men. It can give them kind of an unrealistic expectation because maybe you had one partner that did something you really liked, and now you're trying to make a life partner with someone who may not like that or may not do things that way, and so it puts a lot of pressure on the relationship.
It's also developed the trust issue between you and your future partner. Like sleeping with many different guys, many different women.
Right.
And then now you are thinking to choose only one among all of those to be your lifetime partner.
Right.
It will be not easy to get to feel the satisfaction in that relationship. Well, it is not only talking about physical intimacy, but also emotionally. Of course, the previous relationship with many partners before influence you in a deeper way, emotional way. So to avoid that, we agree that we will not do any sexual activities before marriage.
Yeah, and I know that seems really harsh for a lot of people. However, so many studies also that show that when you have a lot of sexual partners, it makes it hard for you to see sex in the same way as for someone who's a virgin or who has not had many. It starts to become more materialistic. It's about the action itself instead of...
It's about performance.
Yeah, it's about performance instead of the intimacy between two people who love each other.
Yeah, and it will be not easy to see sex as a gift, a holy gift from God. If you treat sex as entertainment.
Yeah, entertainment, that's a good way to put it, yeah.
Right.
And also, we believe that there's a spiritual connection that occurs, like you are giving up a part of yourself. And again, I think even if you are a complete atheist, you can at least sense that there's something that's supposed to be deep and meaningful about sex, and when you treat it like it's not, when you treat it like everyone who you are in a relationship needs to give it to you, or when it's something that you should have often, it does lose that sanctity or that specialness. And also, we'll talk more about this in some other videos, but I just want to touch on one thing for men is if I were to expect my fiance to engage in sexual acts with me in order to move forward in a relationship, I'm basically making our relationship hyper materialistic. I'm saying I can only love you if
you give me something.
Give me something that is like the ultimate thing she can give me, right? Obviously, she could give it to many people, but that's not going to give her a healthy sense of self. We see today where a lot of women talk about their body count and they want to be proud of it, but honestly, if you ask most of them, they're actually offended that you would ask, and so they're not. And I see many men today that would try to brag about how many women they've slept with, but
yeah,
it's not meaningful.
It's always sad when I also have my boys friends, my male friends around me, that every time they talk about how many sexual partners they have before, they will talk about it so proudly, while the woman is in the opposite.
Yeah.
It will be something shameful. So to avoid this kind of bitterness moving forward in this relationship, we decided that we want to make these boundaries. There's no sexual activities, not only the sexual intercourse, but everything that is arousing.
Yeah.
We try to avoid that.
And one other thing I would touch on is for those of you who say, well, yeah, but sex is so important to me, like I've had it before, maybe you were married in the past, or just have had many partners, and so you feel like it's a need. I've heard this expressed in relationships I've been in, like, oh, well, I, need this. Well, there's going to come a time in any monogamous relationship where the sex is likely going to decrease naturally as you age. Your libido or your sexual desire decreases, and perhaps your spouse will not look as young and pretty as they once did. And so when you make it all about this material thing of, it's that the way she looks or the performance she gives or how often she gives it, you are tying the importance of the relationship to something that will not always be there, or at least will not always be the same as it was when you were younger. And your needs will change over time as well. So I encourage you not to start a relationship based upon sex. It's not going to likely last unless you mature and happen to grow a lot in other ways. But if that is the sole basis of your relationship, it's not going to be worth it in the long run.
You need to try this pastry.
Okay. And what did you think of the pastry since you've tried it?
Oh, it's good. I cannot explain more since my English is limited, but you will explain more. Let me.
Why don't you explain in either Japanese or in your native language?
My Japanese also bad.
Okay, then explain it in Indonesian and we'll translate it down below.
Jadi roti ini enak sih. Aku nggak tahu sebenarnya kandungan di dalamnya apa aja, tapi karamelnya terasa dan renyah sih, renyah banget. Good lah. Okay, while you eat that, I will continue. So we agree in the beginning, since the beginning, that we will not do the sex outside of marriage, and also we try to not lips kissing, So why that we also make it a boundaries in our relationship? Let's be honest. Kissing is the gateway to sexual intercourse. So
it's not the only gateway, but it is a gateway.
Yeah, it is one of the gateway. So to be able to make this relationship healthy, we try to not put ourselves in the temptations that we know that it is difficult to fight against it.
The temptation's going to be there no matter what. If you grow in a deep, strong emotional relationship, you're eventually going to be physically attracted. If it started with physical attraction, obviously it's probably already there to some degree. And the more you get to know each other, the closer you move towards marriage, the stronger that desire is going to be. And it's a perfectly natural desire. I think a lot of people who are atheists don't understand that. Of course, we Christians know it's perfectly natural to be attracted to your partner, and you should be. We just choose not to put ourselves in that position that's going to make it especially hard to stop or to not go further.
Right. Well, based on the Bible never mentioned that kissing is a sin.
Mm-hmm.
We have to make it clear. So we have no problem for Christians out there that believe that they need the kissing while they are dating. We are not against it.
Yeah.
But
you just need to know your own boundaries.
Yeah. Between the two of us, we decided to not do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because we want to save it for our wedding to make it more very special.
Yeah.
And this doesn't mean that we don't have the sexual desire. We don't have that sexual temptation. Of course, we have, because we spend most of our relationship long distance. And when you meet in person, the desire is there. But when you decided to wait because you want to do it after the wedding or on the wedding day, you have more trust with the person you are in relationship, because you see that they have a good self-control and moving forward with even after the wedding. Many people still fall into sexual temptation, for example, like to pornography or things like that. So now that we are exercising this self-control, it gives us more confidence in our partner.
It does. And I think some people would think, oh, well, it's easy for you because you're in long-distance relationship.
Yeah.
Well, I've been in relationships before. I'm 36 now, and I've had plenty of relationships, some of them very long, and I assure you that when you're in a relationship with the right partner, if it's a long-distance relationship, you are likely to feel closer to that person than someone that you've been on many dates with. I think in our 2 short years of being together, I feel closer to you than the relationship I was in for 8.5 years.
Yeah,
and
I think
because of the level of communication, which we're going to talk about in part 2 of this video.
Yeah. So when you not involving the hormonal side of you in this relationship, you have your mind clear to talk about what is needed. Like you can discuss about tough topics, financial and everything.
Right.
But imagine, this is just our personal point of view, yeah. We don't judge, but what we believe is when you are not engaged in any sensual or something arousing, you can have your mind clear thinking about this person, whether he or she is good for you or not.
Exactly.
What is the red flags? What is the thing that you need to consider deeper?
Yeah.
And I think it is really healthy.
That's well said. Yeah, it makes it very hard once you have had sex with someone to see some of the other flaws or red flags. And so when you're getting to know someone, especially from a long-distance relationship, and there is nothing sensual, you are judging that relationship on so many factors that will be more important to you later. And that's not to say that sex is not important at all, but I don't know about you, but I would rather wake up next to someone who is quote-unquote mediocre in bed, but who I love for so many more reasons than just how they perform between the sheets, right? Because I love this woman for who she is, for how she thinks, for her heart, for the desires and dreams that we both share, and for so many other reasons. So
Yeah, and to make it clear, we don't, we are not afraid of physical touch.
no,
We do the physical touch.
lots of hugs.
We are hugging, holding hands.
all the time.
Yeah, but we are not intentionally touching the parts that we know it's gonna be something arousing.
Right.
So that is one thing that need to be considered.
But
And-
I even give her foot and back massages.
Yeah.
and so
So knowing that, and also one thing that is important is, not gonna lie, during you are guys together, sometimes the sexual desire is coming, and if you feel tempted with that, you need your partner to know about that, to keep the distance for a while, because you don't want to struggling with that feeling alone.
yeah.
Like they keep, for example, I will just touch him like this while he is now struggling with many, not many, but any sexual things inside his mind. So this touch right here can be something arousing, but I don't mean it to be like that. So when he don't talk to me about that, of course I will not know about that, and I'm not distancing a little bit from him.
Yeah.
So being honest with what you feel. Do you remember when we first time meet in Bali? I was so tempted to kiss you.
Oh.
So tempted. I don't know why, but that is happening. And
I
then
was very kissable at the time. We'll show some pictures like right here so you can understand better. She wasn't crazy.
so this gonna be something shameful to confess to your partner. Especially I am the woman.
But
like how can I have
shouldn't.
more desire than you?
Yeah. If you are really open in your relationship about your boundaries, your needs, your long-term desires for not crossing this boundary, if your partner loves you, they'll take those things seriously, and they will put up safeguards in your relationship as well to help you not cross those, because it may not seem that important right in the moments, right in the heat of the moments, so to speak, but she will likely look back and have some shame about it, and that's not necessary, because if you wait, then you'll feel like you've not done anything wrong. She'll feel like you respect her, and that's one of the key points for me is, guys, if you respect your woman, it should not be about sex. The sex is, at least in the biblical mindset, it is like a blessing that should come out of marriage. And again, we'll talk more about this later, but just to help you wrap your mind around it, sex is primarily, at least in young individuals, something that's supposed to lead to having children. And that is a very special and important thing that you want to have with someone that is ready to have them with you, who wants to have them, and who you're going to want to be with for the rest of your life. If you knock up a woman that you don't love, you're going to, guys, you're going to be financially responsible. You should be there for that child, because that child needs a father. And you're basically now forcing yourself to have some sort of tie to that woman. And I don't know about who you're with now, but I can guarantee you that no woman in the future is going to be happy to know that you have sired a child with someone else, and she's going to feel like she might have to compete for your attention, or that the children she has with you are going to not be so important, or something like that. So.
Okay. So
Yeah.
let's go back to the first story. We experienced the real temptation to fall into sin, but letting the partner know about what you are struggling with right now, and they will help you. Maybe they will distance themselves a little bit from you. It is helpful, because many couples today together they don't let each other know that this is what I'm struggling. They keep together and then they keep compromise, and
Yeah.
then finally they fall into sexual temptation.
Yeah, compromise happens little by little.
Yeah, so it is important to let your partner know so that you both can help each other. And it doesn't have to be shameful when you have to confess that, oh, this is what I am struggling with right now.
Right.
Yeah, just be honest and vulnerable.
Yeah, when you're honest and vulnerable, that kind of opens up new pathways in the relationship, because you start to see your partner as a real person like yourself and not just someone you only idolize, and allows them to not have to be on a pedestal all the time, because we tend to look at our partners, especially early on, as being like so much better than we are, or just so great in general, and you kind of can be unfair to them by not allowing them to be human, to have flaws and
Yeah.
weaknesses. And so, in marriage, you're going to see everything. When your wife gives birth, hopefully she's your wife, you're going to see her at her weakest and her most vulnerable. And as your husband ages, you're going to see his body start to fall apart in some ways, or at least not perform the way he used to. And understand vulnerability in your partner early on so that you can be real. Yeah, so we talked a little bit about this already, but why we value purity. So today it's so hard. Society really normalizes commitment-free sex, is the way I'm going to put
Right.
it.
Well,
Sex with no price tag.
yeah,
Or maybe the price was dinner or 3 dates or something.
one night stand or something.
Yeah.
So this become worse because today's drama and movies really normalize these things.
And music.
Well, we used to, as Asian, we used to know that, okay, Western movie are vulgar, but today, like Korean movie, Korean drama, full of non-direct sexual things, like they will be kissing and then touching and then put to bed. The scene will stop there, and then the audience or the viewers will have to think what happened next on that bed.
Right.
So they are not picturing the hardcore of that pornography part, but they will lead the viewers to think that it is just something normal. They are dating.
Right.
So we try to.
And I don't think I have to tell any of you about Western movies and
Right.
how almost every Western movie that's popular today amongst adults has at least some form of what we call softcore
And even
pornography.
and even Christian movie, what they call Christian movie, it's always like something sexual in there.
Yeah.
So believe it or not, we are all being doctrinized. How you say that?
Indoctrinated.
Yeah, that it is something normal. They are dating, so when you are dating, you are allowed to do that.
And obviously, in a way, it is normal. Like, that's what you want to do. That's what your body wants to do. You are created to seek a partner in which you can be like that with. But just because you have a desire to do something doesn't mean you should, right? And for us, like, the beauty of waiting is so much more important than the feelings in the moment of not.
Yeah, and for those who now dating and realize that you already crossed the border, crossed the line, crossed the what? Boundaries.
Boundary.
It's never too late to start again. We know that God is merciful.
Yeah.
If you listen His voice today and you want to recommitment,
Right.
the forgiveness is there. We are here not to judge anybody,
Yeah.
but to have a better understanding about how sacred is marriage and
Right.
sex. You will have clear goals about what you will do with your relationship and how to honor God with that.
Right. So, if you have already given up your virginity, but you want to feel that purity again, you can. Obviously, you cannot change what has happened physically, but spiritually, you can regain that purity by making a decision not to do that again and to save yourself from here on forward for your partner. And I can almost guarantee you your partner will appreciate and respect that. And if they don't, but that's important to you, then perhaps that's not the partner for you.
Right. Okay. Thank you guys. We have
So you'll see more in part 2, where
second
we'll
part.
talk about commitments and intentionality. And
Yeah.
we'll eat some more yummy treats from this bakery. All right?
Thank you for watching.
Bye for now.
Bye.